Good morning, Year 4. Today's English lesson is to do with grammar. And I wonder, if I give you a clue, if you can guess what word type today's lesson will be about. Is it going to be about nouns? Is it going to be about verbs? Is it going to be about adjectives? Have a look. So today's fabulous literacy lesson will be incredibly useful at helping you wonderful pupils to create detailed and imaginative pieces of writing. I wonder if we're going to be learning about verbs, nouns, or adjectives. Have a think. Well done if you guessed adjectives, because you are correct. So today's walk is we're going to recognise ways that adjectives are used. I'd like you to write down the walk in your home learning book now. Great, we're ready to move on with the lesson now, Year 4. So adjectives, if you remember, they are, everyone, 1, 2, 3, describing words. They tell us more information about nouns. They can be used in two ways. They can be placed before nouns or after certain verbs. Let's have a look at some examples now. So I can put my adjective before the noun. Let's read the sentence together after 3. 1, 2, 3. Alice stood next to an enormous teacup. So the noun is teacup and the adjective is 1, 2, 3, everyone. Enormous. Brilliant. Or I can put it after the verbs like seem, or the verb is, or the verb appear. I'll show you. So the hatter is mad, and we know that is a verb. It's formed from to be. So the hatter is mad. I've got a picture there of a mad looking hatter. Because today you are going to show me that you can use adjectives before a noun, and you can also use adjectives after the verb like, is, or you might use the word appear, you might use seem, or you might use a totally different verb. I'm going to give you a time task now because you're going to have 10 minutes to write your own interesting sentences using these adjectives. Don't worry if it takes you a bit longer, because I'd really like some interesting sentences that are more than 5 words long, please, Year 4. So I'd like you first of all to use an adjective after a verb, like the verb is, seem, or appear. The adjectives I'd like you to use are hungry and magnificent. So here's my example. The thin, lonely child is hungry. So I've chosen the word hungry, which is an adjective, and I've put it after the verb is. So that's what I'd like you to do, is to take hungry and put it after a verb. You can use is, or you might use seem, or you might use appear, or you might have your own verb. I'd also like you to pick your own sentence using the word magnificent. And again, magnificent has to come after the verb. Once you've done that, then I'd like you to see if you can use two adjectives, precious, enormous, in front of a noun. So there's my example for you. The precious vase fell. So the noun was fell. I use the adjective precious and I put it in front of the noun. Over to you now. I'd like you to write your sentences, 4 sentences, remember, we have more than 5 words each in your home learning book. Okay, children, well done. We're going to have a look at some comparative and superlative adjectives. Comparative adjectives. Can you say comparative for me after 3? 1, 2, 3. Comparative adjectives. Well done. Are used when we compare one thing with another. So, for example, let's read the first line together after 3. 1, 2, 3. It is warmer today than yesterday. It is less warm today than yesterday. So I'm comparing one thing with another. I'm comparing today with yesterday. You can have superlative adjectives. That's when we can compare more than two things. So today is the warmest day of the week. Or today is the least warm day of the week. So I've changed my adjective because I am comparing more than two things. So with comparisons to a higher degree, we add EST and ER. With comparisons that are going down, that are a lower degree, we use less and least. Let me show you that. So if I start off with the word high, I can jump higher, or it was the highest jump. If I'm going lower, less high, least high. Let's see if you can have a go. What if the adjective has more than two syllables? Interesting, elegant, and miserable. We simply just use more or most. So Harry Potter is more interesting than Lord of the Rings. Natalie looked the most elegant at the Oscars. The weather in England is more miserable than in Tenerife. So your task now, your second task, is to replace the adjective in brackets with the correct comparative form. E.g., I'd like you to use either EST or ER or more. Number 1, my old bedroom is than my current one. So I'd like you to look at the word small and change it so that it's grammatically correct. I'd like you to do the same with number 2. Once you've done that, you can have a look at the other two at the bottom where you've got to use the superlative form. More, most, EST or ER. Here you go. And task 3 is I'd like to set a challenge, because that poster that I showed you earlier, I think it's a bit boring. I would like you to create an exciting poster using the information below. So I'd like you to see if you can really improve the main information showing high, higher, highest, high, less high, and least high. Have fun with it. I'm looking forward to these wonderful designs. Great work, Year 4.